Welcome everybody to another episode of The Hour of Nick, which is going to be my monthly podcast where I talk about anything from video games to sports to just anything we feel like talking about in general. This is going to be the hub for that. And this time I'm going to be talking about a kind of like a rather interesting thing because this video right here is actually also going to be my 300th video on YouTube. So this video is going to be kind of just like a relay into my YouTube journey thus far, at least the past couple of years, kind of like my YouTube history in general, as well as just kind of our history in general, pretty much everyone here, because everyone here in this call has been on YouTube for a while, and I'm sure has their own unique experiences with to share. And with me, I got three special guests, those being, of course, my friend Mark, Craig as 1996 Television, who was here for the very first time on my Hour of Nick podcast, and my good friend Toad in Wonderland.
How are you all doing tonight? It's great to be here on Nick the Enlightened's channel talking about the topics we're going to talk about tonight.
And howdy all, Big Toady here. Thank you again for inviting me again, Nick, and congrats on the big 300 tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. But yeah, definitely, for sure, it's definitely been a heck of a ride the last couple of years, to say the least. I've definitely had my major ups and downs on YouTube in general throughout the years, but I think the last couple of years is really especially when I've hit my stride. There was definitely a time period, especially throughout, COVID and stuff, when I really was not motivated to do stuff at all, and in which I was kind of feeling down, not just about myself, but with the world in general. But I really feel like the last few years definitely has helped me become a lot more open to really socializing with people and just, in general, just kind of improving myself not only as a person, but also just my social skills and just having a lot more fun with the internet in general. And I will definitely always forever be grateful for that, for sure. It's definitely been a nice ride, and I hope it continues on for many more years to come.
To another 300.
Yep.
Definitely.
Hey, given the way in which I upload that might not be too long from now. But yeah,
You gotta cook.
Yep. But either way, like I said, when I first came back to YouTube a few years ago, it started literally as just me being a part of one of my good friend Connor Condria's tournaments, where we were all playing Mario Party Superstars, because that was the most recent Mario Party game at the time. And of course, I uploaded my video of the tournament and stuff. And even though there was of course some drama with that video, and I'm sure Mark knows this very well by now due to a certain freaking asshole that was a part of that video, it was still a great time. It definitely made me feel really good about finally getting back into recordings. It definitely kind of, I think, showcased that, yes, I can if I do this again after I finally had lost my passion long ago. And, just kind of from there, I've just kind of grew and grew and grew. I've met a lot of nice people here on Discord who I've collaborated with for the past couple of years. I, of course, have done many great specials for a lot of awesome people on this website. And, I've also really rekindled my love and passion for Let's Plays as well. I think both my WarioWare Smooth Moves and my Kermit the Forgotten Land Let's Play in particular turned out really well, and I had a really huge blast doing those Let's Plays.
Okay.
Two really amazing games, by the way.
Yeah,
I really like that too.
Yeah, for sure. They're both great games, and I thought they both made really good subjects for Let's Plays as well. And obviously,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, and I do hope that obviously I can get back to Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated at some point. But I definitely do kind of want to restart that Let's Play altogether. It's because of the fact that I now have the Xbox Series S version, and that version, considering the fact that obviously I can, it's a little bit more easier for me to record now and stuff. I think that would definitely be the version I play now, especially since I got the game for free. But regardless, that was definitely still fun to do for the couple of videos I did try that for.
All right. And I do enjoy the SpongeBob video games too, besides the Battle for Bikini Bottom too.
Yep. But yeah, overall, like I said, even though it's been a short journey so far, it's definitely been a pretty fun one, and I hope to continue making content for a long time to come. And as for you guys, if you want to, you can go on and reflect on the past couple of years as well, if you want to as well.
Well, I actually first just started doing videos on YouTube a lot more regularly in 2012 when I first opened up Craigie S 1996 before closing it down in the following year and changing it and coming back as my current name, Craig S 1996 Television, although it's now known as Craig S 1996 Entertainment as of 2017. And some of the things that I've done on YouTube, I have a lot. Some of those I have a lot of old shame for. Like anything from 2014, I have almost a little to no positivity on some of the stuff that I did in 2014. Being some of the message videos to a lot of the jerks that were harassing me and other people, which I'm not going to say their names because I'm not going to open any cans of worms on this podcast. And I was just, and back then I had no idea what a following was, at least back at the time, but I honestly should have known better on every single level before doing what I did, and, well, I can say I'm not proud of some of the stuff that, I'm certainly not proud of the rant videos that I took apart in other people's channels back in the year.
Yeah, hey, no worries. That's very understandable. Like I said, I'm probably going to discuss this a little bit further on in the podcast, but I also did some stuff around that time that, frankly, I'm not proud of either. There was definitely that time, especially when I was like a young to like mid-teenager, where I was kind of getting into some bad stuff and did some stuff that I now regret. And unfortunately, it's kind of a learning experience. You make mistakes and just have to learn and improve from them for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, at least you're not the cringy, angsty teen today. You've been able to grow from that.
Absolutely, and I can't be happier about it either, for sure.
Hey, it's all about pushing forward.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, for yourself, what you have to give to others, and just whatever your little heart wants to do.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I truly do believe that one of the things one of the best parts about growing up, or like one of the things that you should always strive for, is kind of like self-reflection. Always being able to kind of being able to look at yourself and really your actions, for your stuff, and just kind of go at certain points. Okay, you know what, if something's not working out, or if like or if I'm making a big mistake here, just try to change yourself for the better. That's always I think the best way to go about it.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, heck, if I could actually transition through that a little bit myself, I was actually just going to chime in and say I've kind of had a rather interesting string of history just with online gaming / interactions in general with different communities. It's pretty much gone from just being a very quiet, hiding in the shadows, kind of just loyal viewer of a few communities, to now where I've really been able to have the opportunity to open up with content creation, but more so I would say just being able to meet so many friends along the way, including you, Nick, and just, like I said, having a lot of growth that's come out of that, kind of in a similar scenario as you, and here we are today, where we're just continuing to have fun and just be our best.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Tony. And honestly, I definitely am glad that I've met you and opened up to you and many others as well. I was kind of the same way too, for the longest time, where, even though I've been a fan of people like Slim Kirby and Madam War for many, many years, it was not really until the last years when I really started interacting with them regularly. And, I definitely am glad that I finally did open up with them, because honestly, getting to be a part of these communities and meeting so many awesome people, I'm not exaggerating when I say what I think that's honestly been one of the happiest things in my life, for sure. Especially because it's been one of the many things that has kind of helped me improve as a person myself, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's how I feel some of us have even been able to have the opportunity to meet, because I have actually seen you in said communities and just got it kind of turned around to where we started to mingle and just chat and be like, hey, we like games. So do I. So does this friend and our mutual friend. And like I said, the rest is history because here we are just as a friendly community and group today. And just happy to be here.
Absolutely.
I feel like I've reached my own personal peak back in, I think it was 2018 when I started, when I actually started collabing and doing a lot more content. Not just Let's Plays, but also commercial breaks, summer vlogging, regular VHS previews, and even showing off some of my movie collections that I have.
Nice.
Apparently I grew big enough to actually enjoy it, but I didn't want to grow too big to a point where I become such a conceited jerk and just try not to let the bombardment of requests get to me. So.
Yep. Well, that's definitely good to hear. And I know, Mark, for your part as well. I know there was like definitely a period of time from like I want to say like 20. Actually, probably even like around the time when I first discovered your channel, from like 2013 to I want to say like 2016, in which you kind of got into some unfortunate drama online yourself, and there were some people that kind of made like yellow and red card videos on you back when that was a thing, and it was definitely probably a unfortunate experience for you back then as well. But it definitely is great that you're here now and have also made a lot of improvement yourself since then as well, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of don't really want to go into the specifics as to exactly what happened during that period, but what I will point out though, Nick, is if you've been part of those communities during that aforementioned time period, yeah, let's just say a whole lot of shenanigans went down. Shenanigans that, like I said, I don't want to be bringing up.
Well, and that's more than fair, but definitely for sure though, it's unfortunate, just kind of an unfortunate part of being on the internet for so long, is that inevitably every now and again you're gonna run into some trouble, and unfortunately you kind of were during that time for sure.
Yeah, like back then, like I was in my mid-20s, like I was young, like I did like a lot of stupid things that I probably shouldn't have done, and heck, I even still do stupid things sometimes, even though I'm kind of in my like late 30s now. But we learn from our mistakes.
Yeah,
That is true.
I mean,
I still do some stupid things, even a late 20s guy, but I try to move on and just keep rolling with the punches.
yep. I mean, it's just a part of being human. I mean, we're all only human after all. Humans a lot of times do make a lot of stupid decisions and make stupid mistakes for sure that we all regret. It's just an unfortunate part of life. I definitely do still do stupid things myself every now and again, and the important thing really is just to not only learn from it but also move on from it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing though is that I was able to get a lot of those friends back, like in the second half of 2016, and I had also made some new friends too, from what I remember as well.
Yeah,
one of
absolutely.
including, as you mentioned, Nick, one of those new ones that I've had the pleasure of meeting over the last few years was, like you said, was Connor Condria, which was shortly after Mario Party Superstars had come out.
Yep, and that's how I met him as well, and definitely for sure it's been really great knowing him the past few years as well. I definitely would say that he's definitely continued to be one of my best friends, my best friends the past few years as well.
And let's also not forget our friend, our UK friend Tasha Gamer.
Oh yeah, she's amazing as well. She's definitely somebody that that I think has also grown a lot as a content creator, and definitely couldn't be more than happier to call her a friend as well.
Yeah, and also a huge fan of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that because I am also a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog as well. Not as much as Mario, but I still love Sonic.
Yeah.
I am very 50-50 and alternating between Mario and Sonic.
Yeah, I mean, I have played like a good chunk of the Sonic games, but I of course am more Mario than I am Sonic. So,
Gotcha.
I'd say the same here.
although I am looking forward to the new Sonic racing game later this year. That is going to be amazing.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, Sonic Racing Crossroads looks amazing. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, though, I definitely do have a long history on YouTube. You know, I've been on YouTube, you know, as crazy as it is to say, like more than half my life technically. I started making videos technically when I shouldn't have even been on the site, and you know, as crazy as that sounds, you know, it also means that you get to learn and see a lot on the site, and you know, not only during that time have I changed a lot as a person, but you know, YouTube's changed a lot as well. You know, I definitely think like early on the site was like a lot more kind of like close ended, I guess, for like lack of a better term, like more community oriented. Like I definitely feel like back in the day because there was like you know, like a lot less YouTubers with like all these millions of subscribers and stuff. A lot of people got to know each other better, and I definitely think it was kind of like a more peaceful time. But unfortunately, since then, you know, a lot of stuff has happened. You know, a lot of people have kind of taken advantage of the system. There's been a lot of toxic things that have happened to come around, and you know, YouTube definitely has changed a lot in some ways. And while I do think some of those changes are probably for the better, some of it also is for the worse too. And there definitely is sometimes has been questions about you know the site's actual commitment to its original core identity about broadcasting yourself. But either way, I mean, you know, it still definitely has been a nice long journey for sure.
I mean, the whole point of when YouTube first like went on the air 20 years ago, the whole objective, like you said, was to like be yourself and not have to be subjected to any like harsh policies or whatever. Oh, how those objectives have changed over the years. In fact, YouTube's gone more away from their original goal over the last several years than close to it.
Yep.
Yeah. And changing their original logo from having the word tube inside the word tube inside the red TV tube and to just having a play button on the
and here's a good example of how stupid like YouTube is now. Like early years of YouTube, like well, obviously depending on a person's age and the channel or whatever, like you could drop like F bombs randomly whenever you wanted, and nobody would give a crap. But now you can within like the first 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or whatever of a video, the whole video gets demonetized, which is completely BS.
Yep. And unfortunately, you know, it is precisely because of that you know a lot of YouTubers also do sponsor segments now, and at least in my opinion, get like unfairly chastised for that. And earlier is ridiculous in my opinion. I think maybe that could be like a subject I do like for like another point in time. But I will go ahead and briefly touch upon this now. I do think when people like you know rag on others for like doing these sponsor segments and stuff, you know, a lot of them just don't really get it because you know the thing that people need to realize is that you know this is how they have to make their living now thanks to some of YouTube's new policies. And so you know when they even though they might not necessarily want to do sponsor segments, they kind of have no choice but to do so. And so when you're literally crapping on somebody for doing whatever they need to do to get by, that's kind of fucked up in my opinion.
That is very
And another thing that I've noticed that's been happening the last few years on YouTube, this has kind of sadly been more on the rise lately, unfortunately, is various channels of different kinds being hacked left, right, and center because the people that are in charge of those channels are dummies that click on links when they're not supposed to.
That is correct. And that whole thing with the two-step verification, that was probably the worst thing that YouTube and Google made up. I mean, whole safety thing, but having to add your phone, if you do the two-step verification, you're essentially locked out of your own Google email until
Now, 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 thankfully, something like that has never happened with me in the, well, it'll be 19 years as of this August. But let's say around approximately 19 years at this point that I've had my YouTube channel.
See, I've been doing videos on YouTube for the past 13 years, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And why has that never happened with me? Because I am usually very careful. And I'll even break, and to go back to what I was saying about some of these YouTubers who are dummies and click on links when they're not supposed to, resulting in their things getting hacked. Well, a lot of that is because of quote-unquote fake sponsorship offers, which, and I'm not sure Nick knows about this, but for those of you who may not know, that actually one of those quote-unquote emails landed in my inbox at one point. I don't remember when exactly that was, but I know at one point one of those definitely landed in my inbox, but unlike some of these idiots, I actually did the correct thing and deleted the email from my inbox.
That's good on you, Mark. But
On you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny you say that because my first video on YouTube was actually way back in 2008. And the funny thing also is that because I really didn't know what to do back then, it is like one of the stupid things I'm into doing. And because the fact also that, at least in that time, I didn't have much original thought. My very first video was actually like a complete and total rip-off of something I'd seen on YouTube. Where, like, basically, it came from a Sumar Logan, for those who know who that is. He does a lot of plus skit videos now. But back then, he was just like a young kid just kind of doing, like, I guess you could say, like, generic YouTube content. But, like, one of the things he made was, like, this video where he put, like, certain games into a good stack and certain games into a bad stack. And I pretty much copied that exact formula to a T. And really didn't do anything to shake it up at all. And definitely when I look back on that, even though I can appreciate the fact that I obviously had a talent for doing this thing even back when I was so young, at the same time, it's like, dang, I really wish I could have actually come up with something that was a lot more original and actually creative back then.
Yeah. Now, finishing up quickly what I was saying about the hacking subject, is it's actually a good thing that I ended up doing the right thing and deleting that fake quote-unquote sponsorship email, because, and I'm going to explain this why. Because the YouTube channel that I have, the one that I've had for all these years, is tied to an email address that I had up till about 2012 or something, before I ended up changing my email address. So obviously, that old email address no longer exists, and I'm obviously not going to say what it was on there for privacy reasons. But what I will point out was, had I been dumb enough to fall for that, which thankfully I wasn't, then not only would my own channel have been hacked, but because, like I said, because it's tied to an email address that no longer exists, I likely would not have been able to get it back, and I would have had to start all over again. Which, for someone who currently has over 13,000 videos on his channel over a 19-year period, that probably would not have been something I would have been possibly wanting to do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because think about it, all those videos and all that work, gone in an instant if you're not careful.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. Alright.
But yeah, that was basically how I started on YouTube. Then the next couple of years, I made some other videos as well. I haven't actually transitioned into like another YouTube channel back then, and this channel is no longer around. I deleted it like a long time ago because of what I'm about to talk about. But so I'll just go ahead and say the name of it was Mario Fan Nick, and I made some awesome reviews on that as well. And I definitely had a good time back then until I made like this one video that was called I forget the exact name of it, but it was like basically a video idea where me and my family had, where I'd basically try to play like as many of my gaming systems as possible from like an 8-minute time span. It was just a fun little dumb video that I had back in the day, because obviously I've always been a big fan of video games or video game consoles in general, and I kind of want to see how fast I could do like a challenge like that. And this is like one of the things where like one of the communities I was getting involved with kind of came out to bite me. Because back in the day, I used to actually really like these videos that were called like commentary videos on what they called like bad videos and stuff. And these were basically a bunch of videos where a bunch of people fight their video game and like anime avatars would like criticize others. And even though a lot of these videos had like no substance whatsoever and made like very few good points, honestly, most of the time, for whatever freaking reason, I love that stuff back in the day. I don't know if it was just because they were all talking about video games or it was just because of the fact that, kind of like how some of them sounded. Honestly, it was maybe that. But either way, I fell for a lot of the stuff they said hook, line, and sinker. And there was like two of these guys that I liked a lot and who I even made references sometimes. And no kidding, these freaking assholes, I'm just gonna say this right now, these fucking assholes literally made an entire video mocking and freaking ridiculing me for that stupid college video I did back then. And back then, I really did think it was a huge sense of betrayal as well, because it's like, wow. These two guys that you're a huge fan of and that you watch constantly, and that you really support, were making this video where they were literally freaking, insulting you all this time and saying all this crap about your mother. It's like, what the hell is going on here? That was definitely my first real sense of betrayal on YouTube for sure.
Go into that kind of betrayal that I experienced from YouTube back in 2014 when I did a message video on a jerk that was harassing me and a whole bunch of other people, but that video has since been deleted and I was not going to keep that one.
Yep.
All of it.
But yeah, I think it was really that incident and that really kind of turned me into the person I was for the next few years, because for the next few years, there were times when I would do some stupid things and I would write some needlessly negative comments that, frankly, I'd really no reason to write at all. I think really, I was just into some needlessly edgy stuff back in the day, some edgy content, and that kind of influenced who I was as a person the next few years. Now, luckily, most of those comments are gone, but even still, it's like, if I could go back and redo it, I definitely would, because, that was not my finest moments for sure, saying a lot of, like really mean and nasty things to people on YouTube for really no reason at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it this way. I definitely am glad that, I've known you guys the past few years rather than like in 2015 and 2016, because, that was like really the time, I think, when I was, kind of really at like my really huge naughty teenager phase.
I turned 20 in 2016 and I was doing my damnedest to improve as not just a person but a YouTuber in general, because with the founding of Discord, when everyone was transitioning from Skype to that, from where we are right now, I was really trying to improve on how I should be acting, because there were certain people that could not control their feelings or their tripwire tempers, and a lot of people were banned from the Discord servers because. But I'm not going to go any further than that. So.
Yeah, but either way, like I said, it was definitely like a huge learning experience for me. And definitely for sure, I think when things started to turn around for me, it was really like, 2018, 2019, because, that was around the time when I started going to college. Never graduated, by the way, but then I like really started, kind of like seeing, different things and like really just kind of making an effort to really improve my behavior. And that was like really when I started to realize that, that a lot of the stuff I did back then was just frankly quite unnecessary. And, it's led to the person I am today. And I definitely am glad that, that I've definitely become a much more fun and relaxed person for sure. A person that always enjoys playing video games with everybody and making all kinds of content I hope to still continue to make for the next few years to come.
Okay.
But yeah, Tony, is there like any experience during like other experience like during your time on the internet you'd like to share as well?
Was you saying like a specific time or year or
just in general? I mean, like any kind of like time or year, just like whatever you feel like sharing.
Like a little bit of everything that happened, depending on like the exact year. If we're talking about just like my presence on YouTube and like transition to other social media, but. I guess if we want to like take the clock back a little bit and just kind of quickly glaze through what I had kind of with my experiences. I would say 2010 was kind of like my first year as far as like getting out a little bit, but I didn't really do anything content creation wise until like later after it, and a lot of it was actually due to limitations with technology and just not having good internet. That's really what it boiled down to for the longest time. Is I just couldn't do it because I was at the mercy of what I had available to use. But I was still present as far as being able to watch and support friends throughout the years. And that was also during the time 2013 and 14 when we had the terrible implementation of Google Plus being a requirement in order to continue posting comments on YouTube for a period of time. If anyone is familiar with that.
Oh gosh, I remember that. I remember that so well. Honestly,
It was so distasteful that a lot of people unfortunately remember it.
yeah.
I remember it, and I hated it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that that's something that they finally removed so that it wasn't a requirement. It took a little time until they finally kicked in with that, but like even content creators were complaining that they couldn't even see the comments people were leaving on the videos for a period of time. It was very disheartening. So I'm glad that they, have gotten past that and to now where Google Plus isn't even a thing.
Yeah.
But I guess fast forwarding a little bit, I know I was also on, it was Justin TV originally at the time, watching the same friends who also were dabbling into streaming as well, not just making videos on YouTube. And Justin TV then transitioned to Twitch, which is what we know it as now. And there was actually multiple platforms even back then. It wasn't just Justin TV. I know Ustream was kind of semi-popular-ish, but it kind of disbanded over time after a lot of UI changes were made, and people just seemed like Justin TV / Twitch was the main go-to place where a lot of people were more comfortable and familiar. Plus the features in the UI I think were just the most appealing at the time. I mean, there's even some debate on that even today, which that's a whole other subject. But again, I still kind of coexisted between YouTube and Twitch just as supporting friends. But it wasn't until shortly after the pandemic that after suggestions from friends, they were like, you know what? You moved. You have better internet now. You have a better PC now. Why don't you give this streaming gig a shot? So I did, and over time I got to kind of get out there just a little bit more than what I had before. And the rest is history as far as just all the friends I made along the way, and just grown to be a more open person, I guess, so to say.
Nice. Well, that's definitely very good. And like I said, I definitely feel like my experience in the past few years on Discord and really just these communities in general, like even just watching the streams, has definitely helped make me a bit more of a social person in general. Like, I'm still like a bit of a socially awkward person, like even in real life. Like I still, I'm not the greatest with social interaction, but I definitely have gotten a lot better about like being like a lot more open about myself for sure, and like actually, talk with people. And I definitely am forever grateful for that. Like I said before, it's definitely a nice feeling, and I definitely am glad that you have become, I guess you could say, more open as well, Tony, for sure.
More open, and just like I said, the more creative side of who I am as a person also has been able to have the opportunity to finally like kind of put my stake in a little bit. But also, side note too, despite what my Discord profile might say, I actually have been using Discord since earlier than what it says. I've had it since 2015, but unfortunately my initial account has been permanently locked out, and I've had no way to recover it.
Gotcha.
So, despite what it says, I have been around. But I just thought that was amusing. But as we were talking about, like, hey, I deleted this account and I'm on this now. That's kind of the one thing I've had over the years where like I've had to change something.
Oh, I see. But yeah, I definitely am sorry to hear that. But it definitely is still great that you're back in true form now for sure as well.
Oh yeah, but like I said, I mean that's just the part of social media. It's just keeping tabs with our like-minded friends. And as far as what makes us happy and why we want to make those connections.
Exactly. And, like I said, I definitely feel like the internet has kind of helped out a lot and that kind of stuff in general over the years, kind of both in good and bad ways. But definitely for sure, I think this is definitely the good stuff for sure. It's always nice to be able to talk and hang out with you guys, sometimes even play a game as well. But, and as far as streaming goes, that's also something I hope to get into in the future as well, talking, I guess, a bit about my future plans, is that I definitely do hope to get into streaming one day. Definitely for sure I'll need to get at least a little bit better of an internet connection, or frankly, even like a better, computer in general to start doing that. But either way, it definitely will be exciting for sure. And also, I guess just to kind of like name a quick thing, it's like as far as like getting into, I guess, like some of my favorite moments of the past couple of years I've been doing on YouTube, I would definitely say, a lot of the Mario Party challenges that I've done over the years on my channel, and of course also just being able to celebrate with so many amazing people. You included Tony and Mark. Definitely has been quite exciting. I've definitely had so many clip-worthy moments, and I definitely hope that kind of thing continues as well. Even though obviously, I swear a lot of my in my videos, it's kind of funny because in real life it kind of takes me a lot to kind of get answered that far. But in these videos, I kind of played up a little bit and say a lot of funny expletives, including my famous bullshit clip, and it's definitely been kind of fun, kind of experimenting with that as well. And the funny thing is that I actually got that from an angry video game reviewer I used to watch back in the day. There was this guy named, and I'm sure Dominic has mentioned this before too, but there was this guy named AliRx who used to do like all these angry video game reviews, and like whenever he was discussing something that he thought was bullshit, he would have this clip from the movie called The Breaks that went like, bullshit! And when I found on YouTube, I figured, what? This would be a nice thing to do for my videos as well. And the cool thing is that I even emailed Ali, actually. I even emailed him, and he gave me the go ahead to start using the clip too. So it definitely was nice to be able to know that even he appreciates that clip getting widely used a lot more now as well.
Although one clip though I kind of wish we had, that I'm kind of regretting that we don't have since we didn't record this particular one, is when we played on King Bowser's Keep and I had that clutch vault win near the end.
Oh god, yeah, I definitely wish I was recording that game.
Yeah. That would have been a nice clip.
Yeah, it is kind of a shame that the only evidence I have left of that game is, of course, that screenshot. But it was still nonetheless a very hilarious moment. Definitely for sure, if I did record that game, you can bet there would have been a whole lot of those BS clips, like kind of like back to back to back.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as far as like you guys, what would you say is like your favorite moment of being on YouTube nowadays? And I mean, and honestly, even if you just want to like list stuff just like at the top of your head, that's perfectly fine as well. Honestly, like I said, it doesn't have to be like necessarily, I guess for like lack of a better word, kind of like full and complete, but just kind of like at the top of your head thing. Like, what is your favorite thing you've done over the years?
Probably my favorite moments on YouTube was when I was doing family game nights with my family and recording one specific game on YouTube called Catchphrase. It's a game where you have to name out what they're trying to guess. Like, say, this person starred in a Disney movie. It came out in 2006, and you have to try and guess what that title is. If you guess correctly, you get to pass it to the next person, and I've been doing some clips of me playing the Catchphrase game for many years now, and it's kind of been a second staple of my YouTube channel besides all the Mario Party games. And whenever I'm not doing any Catchphrase games, I am participating in Skype calls and partaking in a lot of Jackbox game nights with some other people. Those are my favorite memories of doing YouTube videos. I can just say, and other moments I can recall are filming myself on the road inside of a car and just filming myself on the road and getting to a specific destination and just showing a lot of the city from where I am. those are my favorites kind of videos I love partaking in. Those are among my favorite moments, and any moments that a lot of people clip from my stuff, they seem to find them pretty funny, and they enjoy a lot of the freakouts that I have during some of my let's plays, and even though I do, cut certain, even though I do cut certain parts where I really get angry and start screaming my head off, I usually just make a cut and like a couple of moments later, or 1 minute later, or one later on, and I guess the rest of history from that. Apparently, a lot of people like my rage. A lot of people like the rage stuff that I do in some of my channel. It's what gives the video a lot of likes for me. It's like,
Not
a lot to.
nice. Well, that's definitely good to hear. And like I said, that's kind of a similar story for me as well, for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure even like you, Tony, with if if you're doing streaming and stuff, I'm sure you've had definitely some really nice moments over the years as well.
There's too many to name. I would say streaming itself has probably had the better opportunity for me to be able to like just get more out there, get more like growth. Well, growth in a sense that like my own personal growth, not like I'm not talking about like clout growth, but just being able to network and get together with friends more because I was really kind of unsure of how this would take a direction, honestly. But some of the closest friends I've had who have been very understanding of like me, who I am as a person. Just I've had some of the best friendships come out of the experience. But if it comes to YouTube, if we want to rewind a little bit, there's been some good moments too. It's just I was very amateurish with content creation at the time, so to say, because I definitely do not have the same skills now that I had back then when it came to like video editing, and just if I know now what I like and started this back then, very easily I would feel better about some of the stuff I made, because I look back and I'm thinking, oh god, what is this cringe that I created? And I'm talking like little things that just, I don't know, for me, it's just a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, come on, you could have got rid of those black bars on that so that it wasn't just taking up like a third of the screen, or like, the audio sounds bad. Why didn't I tune this better? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just, but kind of like what I had said, and I know Nick had even brought it up a little bit himself. You are at the mercy of like what equipment you have to work with as well, and that does make a difference on like what you can and can't do. Streaming is very resource heavy. I will say, not just from experience. You do need a decent computer, something that's going to be able to multitask well between different apps and programs. It's just being able to broadcast. But also, yes. The internet, you need a decent speed for it to run smoothly without lagging terribly, just because of how intensive it is. Where YouTube gives you a little more freedom of not necessarily needing all of those things, because it's more of uploading created content versus live stream. Unless you want to stream on YouTube, I mean, there is the option for that too. But one last thing I just want to say regarding like YouTube content for my end of things. I mean, I've done a lot of Mario parties related stuff. I know that was one of my subscriber specials back in the day, and as far as other content, like I know I made a few videos where it was like homages and montages of my times being with friends at conventions. So I had the opportunity to kind of like make some slideshows that were pretty cool, reflecting on the memories. Because I knew that wasn't something I was going to probably have as many opportunities, and sure enough, same friends have not had the same opportunities themselves. So kind of savor the moment for what we could out of it. But like I said, I just appreciate that I was able to, take like there was photos and videos we had, just stuff we did, and just make a montage out of our experience.
Nice. Well, that is definitely really good to hear, Tony. Like I said, it definitely is nice that you can always make those kind of memories, and I'm sure you're definitely far from the only person that, can look back at, like, some of the stuff you did back in the day and wish that you had, like, better equipment or even just knew what you were doing better back then because, obviously, as I addressed earlier, we all kind of grow and change and evolve over the years, and so, obviously, sometimes you can only look back at your old content and go, like, dang, I wish I could do back then what I can do now.
You best learn by trying it, though.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yep. But, yeah, before I end this video, I'll go on, let Mark, I guess, share, like, his favorite moment if he's anything in particular he wants to discuss in that regard.
I guess one of my favorite moments, I don't know if this was necessarily on, I guess this wouldn't necessarily be on my own YouTube channel, but when we had Crazy Mario's birthday stream at one time where this would have been late 2023 because Jamboree wasn't out yet. And we were playing on Peach's birthday cake of Mario Party Superstars, and I won on a clutch chance time at the end of the game.
Oh gosh, don't remind me of that, Mark. No, but in all seriousness, that actually is a very good thing, and I do agree. That actually was like a really crazy event in general, and definitely was a really cool way to end that stream. And the crazy thing too is that was like actually the second big game that year that that ended in chance time, because if you remember earlier when I was talking about in the Mario Party Superstars tournament and stuff, well, of course, a couple months later, Connor did a Mario Party 1 tournament, and then, of course, I literally won that tournament, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, I literally won that tournament the exact same way, where, I used a chance hunt to my advantage and swapped stars with, I think it was Connor. That was just so crazy. It honestly was crazy that year we had, like, 2 games, like, end in that dramatic a fashion. Alright. But anyway, I think that's probably going to do it for this episode of the podcast. I think I covered, like, basically all the things I wanted to discuss. But either way, it was nice having you guys on for sure. This is definitely, like, a nice little reflection video. And as far as, like, myself is concerned, this has definitely been a nice way to celebrate 300 videos. And I definitely hope to make, 300 more and beyond. Obviously, I hope I can do this for as long as I'm physically able to, at least for as long as I'm breathing. But anyway, thank you guys all for joining me for this. It was a lot of fun. If you guys have any last words to say, feel free to do so.
Hey, thank you for having me on your podcast here, Nick. I usually don't get to collab with a lot of people on YouTube very much, and whenever I do get that chance to collab, I like to seize the opportunity.
Nice. Well, it's great. It's been great having you on for sure, Craig.
Glad to be here tonight.
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and interject too. Thank you again for having all of us on too, Nick. And I'm really happy that I can say that you're my friend too. And thanks for what you can do. I know you're stretched pretty far between a lot of different things you got going on, both IRL and just what time you do have to be able to enjoy yourself, even if it's just some self-care being the Mario Party enthusiast you are. But you definitely put a smile on both me and some of our other mutual friends' faces, so thank you for being who you are.
Thank you. You definitely put a smile on my face as well.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. And happy 300 to you.
Thank you.
Bro. Happy 300, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, that goes for me as well.
Yeah, thank you as well, Mark. So anyway, this has been March's edition of the Hour of Nick podcast. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all for episode 4 coming up next month, which, spoiler alert, is probably going to be a really big episode given a certain thing that's going to happen in just a couple weeks from now. It's probably going to I'm probably going to record that video maybe 2 or 3 days after the event, but even still, it's going to be, once I collect my thoughts and stuff, and can say, like, more conciseness and stuff, but either way, that should definitely be a banger of a podcast, so I hope you're all looking forward to that. Anyway, take care, everybody, and have a great day. Thank you all for watching.